Welcome to Climbing the Stage. And welcome to episode 2 of Climbing the Stairs with me, your host, Justin Stair. And today I've got another one of my friends and an interesting guest, and we'll get into him in just a second. I appreciate any of you guys watching the first episode on YouTube. I've also got them up on SoundCloud. This will also go up, but we are starting and trying to film. So if there's a video up, it worked. If the video is not up, it didn't, and we're going to try again next time. But this is trial and error, so we're going to go from there. Now, I met my guest today coaching high school baseball, and we might have even met before high school, probably.
Possibly,
because
of my older brother, Travis.
Yep. So, we've known each other for a long time, and recently I've been keeping tabs on him we'll get into that a little bit later, but my guest today is Ryan Windsor. Thanks for coming, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for hosting me, truthfully. I'm at your house. But I appreciate, you reached out, and we had talked about doing this a long time ago, and I hadn't started anything yet, and the first episode came out, and I'm planning ahead and trying to reach out to people, and scheduling is always tough. Ryan reaches out to me earlier this week and goes, "Hey, what do you think?" I said, "Hey, it works out for me, and we're good to go." Now, if you are working the video here, you can't see. There are tournament games, a game of bags going on in the background that Ryan's a part of, and that's something we're going to talk about. I have 5 questions like normal today, and he's got a couple for me, and we're just going to kind of get into them, And so my first one for you, Ryan, is today, who are you?
My name is Ryan Windsor. I'm 22 years old. I live in Cuba, Illinois. I'm single. I work at Jimmy John's Monday through Friday, sometimes 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 5 hours a day, just depending. And then on the weekends, I play in bags tournaments, which is my passion. I've been doing that for about 8.5 years now.
Still
So
in high
it's
school
been
starting, right?
Quite some time. Yeah, I started at 14 and I'm 22. But I'm a very energetic person who's very outgoing, and I love to play bags. I love working at Jimmy John's. I have a great boss, Mindy Harn. Shout out to her. Scott Harn.
Helps you guys schedule
Shout
stuff.
out to Bryson Russell.
Right, helps
All
you.
3 amazing people, and they're very flexible with my bag schedule, so I'm very grateful to have them. But that's about the main gist of who I am. Just a 22-year-old crazy kid, basically.
He talks about the crazy schedule. When I got here, he goes, "Yeah, I worked a 10-hour shift today and got back from Vegas last night at 9 o'clock, and when do you head to California?"
I leave Friday.
Yeah, so
a
like
couple more days.
That crazy schedule is a real
Yeah.
thing. We'll get into that a little bit later. So no, that was a good answer. I wouldn't even add anything. Like when I interviewed Kevin, I made sure to talk about the fact that he's writing. But you're very upfront with the fact that if you could, and you kind of almost do, play bags almost full time as you can. Truthfully,
Yes, I try to.
The fact that you're traveling like you are, you're going to get the games, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But if you could do anything other than what you're doing now, what would your dream job be, you think?
That's a very good question. What would be great would be going on the professional poker tour. I've been on the professional bags tour for a couple years now. I think that this was my 3rd year considered a pro or whatever, so still early on, but being a professional poker player is a very hard thing to do. That takes a very high bankroll, and it's a very tough game / sport. It could be a sport.
Basically.
It is on ESPN, which is a sports programming network.
Yep.
But that might be a few years. If that ever happens, I don't know. My main focus is bags right now. I'm a lot more, when it comes to bags, I'm like a level 9 / level 10 player. I'm basically at my prime right now. But poker, I'm like,
Still learning.
I'm at the bottom. I'm at the beginning stage.
We enjoy watching it and seeing the high level play, and
Yes.
thinking, I don't know how they're doing.
Yeah,
that.
exactly. But it would be cool to be on tour and do that.
Heck yeah.
But it'd be a very hard challenge for sure. But that's what I would see myself doing if I wasn't working
What you doing now?
full time playing bags.
Understandable.
But I'm happy to be in the position I'm in.
Nice. So the next question will take part of a little bit of what Ryan was talking about. You said you've been pro 4 years?
3 years.
3 years,
This
okay.
was my third year.
Full third, okay.
Yeah.
And now next year that'll change a little bit with a new contract we'll talk about a little later, right?
Yes, there'll be some big changes.
Big
coming
changes.
up
Good
in the
changes, though,
future.
I think,
Yes.
from what we've talked about.
Yes.
So currently, Ryan was playing in the ACL and the ACO.
Correct.
And those are the American Cornhole League and the American Cornhole Organization.
Correct.
So the OCO is the one that crowns the king of cornhole, correct?
That's the ACO.
ACO. I keep doing OCO.
Which
That
is-
was my bad. Well, that was my question was,
Right here.
you've been in 3 years, though sadly you did not defend singles this year. You were close to fighting off the top guy. What was it like to be crowned king of cornhole? That's got to be cool. Like,
Yeah, that was the best feeling in my life because my dad, who unfortunately passed away when I was 18, currently 22, but when I was, I think, 17 or 18, he said, if I win that title, he'll give me $1,000. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, I should at least
Let's
try.
get to
I
work,
should at
right?
least try.
let's get to work.
But I was focused. I was playing all 3 sports in high school, and then I decided to go to college and get my associate's degree at Spoon River College here in Canton, Illinois. So I was mainly focused on high school sports, college, but after I graduated college, that's when I fully committed to this, and then, just doing one thing at a time rather than trying to do 10 different things at a time. But being crowned king, I kind of knew it was coming too, because my first world championship ever was season 12, and I got first in doubles with Cedro Herrera, but I got second in singles. And it was a horrible feeling getting second. Like, my
So
whole
close.
body went numb because I was so close. But it was season 12. And 13's always been my lucky number my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, maybe it's not meant to be.
Who knows?
Next year it's meant to be. I didn't dedicate myself fully. I kind of half-assed in the training room. So I'm like, I got a full year to get stronger, smarter, and fully prepare for it. And that's what I did. And sure enough, I won. So it was
That's
the
awesome.
greatest feeling in the
I remember
world.
watching. I watched the stream of it happen. Now I know you played doubles a lot with Cedro. How many titles have you guys won together?
We became the world doubles champions. We won California tournaments. We've won Vegas tournaments. We've won Texas tournaments.
So you guys kind of played all.
When I started playing bags, he actually lived in Illinois, so I got to figure out which tournament he's going to. I'd go get my ass whooped, and I always keep coming back for more.
Yeah.
Because he was the best in the world when I first started, and that's who I looked up to. And then I started getting better. He asked me to play in a tournament. I said yes. And then ever since we became partners, he's been my mentor. I've learned a lot from him, so I give him a lot of thanks for teaching me and kind of taking me to California and really traveling with me. And we were winning, and he's definitely my number one go-to guy when it comes to tournaments.
And that's good to have. That's good to have somebody that knows the situation and has been there and knows that level. There's something else I'll mention. You said you lacked in the training room. Now, I know you throw a lot. How often do you do this, though, and sit and watch film? Do you?
That's very important because Kobe Bryant, I saw an interview on Kobe Bryant. He said it's very painful to watch yourself lose, but you have to learn from your mistakes. And Kobe Bryant is who I learned that from. It's important to watch where you went wrong, go work on it, and just... It's more of a mental, smarter game than it is just a physical game.
Yep.
So,
but the reason I ask is you got to admit, are you probably one of the only guys in probably the top 10 that watch film? Or do you think more guys watch film?
Well, there's actually not a lot of film to watch.
That's true.
But
I mean, there's some. You can find some games.
oh yeah, there's
that's going to go up.
Oh yeah, it's been growing and growing every year for sure, but I'm not sure what other players do.
Fair.
But what I do know is I think I work harder than most.
I'll give you that for sure. And I know, like, we had talked a little bit about it, and my question for you was, like, my wonder was how much does other players necessarily being drinking? Because you think of bags, you think of backyard sports, you think of the 4th of July, you think of that. But, like, these guys are out there like this in a big venue, sometimes outside, sometimes inside, playing very serious games where they've got crowds around them. You've had some pretty big crowds, haven't you, for some of these tournaments?
Yeah, I've had about 200 plus surrounded in a circle, couple rows
right
back.
On top, yeah.
So it can be very nerve-wracking. So I'd say about 75% of people are drinking beer playing. Sometimes I do, but normally I don't.
Depends.
Most people say it calms their nerves, but
we were talking about that beforehand. You know, like when these guys know there's going to be a stream or something like that. Some guys get nervous on camera. I could see that being a thing, but like I always wonder if that, like, if you notice maybe a guy's drinking more than normal or something, be like, all right, this is going to be a different game, or that's a normal, and you're like, all right, he's on his game. You know, it just depends. Best place you've played, most like nice, beautiful, whatever you want to take that as. I know you said you played California. When I saw the pictures of that looked like a pretty cool venue.
yeah, it's definitely California by far because the tournament is right there on the beach. It's called the Surf Rodeo Tournament.
In fact, that's where you're heading.
Which is where I'm going here in a couple
so it
of
works
days.
out. Yeah.
It's right on the beach. You have two bands on each side. I just know it's in Ventura, California. You have two bands on each side. You're in the middle, couple of beer gardens. There's a surf contest in the ocean. There's a bikini contest. There's palm trees everywhere, music blasting. And then you look up and you see the beautiful mountains, perfect weather. There's nothing like it.
How many people do you think will be in that tournament?
Oh, it gets filled up every year.
So what's full?
I think they max it at 128 teams. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they.
Now, is that only a doubles tournament, or is there a singles also?
It's only doubles tournament.
Okay, and then you said the other tournament you're going to there, is that a doubles also or a singles?
It's at the same place.
Same place.
The first one, you have to have a California resident as your partner. I'm throwing with Dustin Parkins. And the second one is the Pro AM Big Dog, where anybody's allowed. And I'm throwing with Lester Price from Kentucky.
Nice.
Really looking forward to it.
Have you thrown with him before?
Yes, I actually won my first big tournament with Lester Price.
Nice.
And I was like, I didn't even have my license. I was 14 or 15 just starting out. And it was a blind draw in Peoria. And I'm like, yes, I got this guy from Kentucky. He must be good. And then Lester looks at me and he goes, oh, I got some kid. I go up to throw my first round. I throw a 3-bagger and one on the board. And Lester's like, well,
like, all right.
This kid's pretty good. And then we end up winning the tournament. That was the only time we partnered up, but I've played against him numerous times, and he's definitely top 10, if not top 5 in the country.
That's awesome.
He's a very solid player.
It's good that you have good relationships with guys like that, and you see them often and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. He's a great guy, great thrower. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So one thing I want to talk about is the new things coming. You've got there's a new contract you're going to sign with the ACL, and the ACL is covered by ESPN. Now, they have had tournaments on them before. They're changing up their layout to make it an exclusive thing to where if you sign that contract, you can only play ACL tournaments, stuff like that. But because of that, there's more money involved, and that's a good thing for overall. Now, I'll tell you this, and we talked about this beforehand too. We've even had articles about them talking about this being an Olympic sport in a few years. How crazy is that? When you were playing at 14, where you couldn't play in certain tournaments because you were underage, to now looking at signing a contract that you're going to be covered on ESPN for tournaments, and it's going to be an exclusive contract where, like, the endorsements are going to be better and the coverage is going to be better, hands down.
There's going to be a lot of opportunities that really I don't really know much about right now, but they will eventually pop up. But I would say 95% of people doesn't think it has a chance to be an Olympic sport. I'm the 5% of people that does believe.
Well, it's because you've seen this
that
level.
it will be
like
an
you've
Olympic
seen,
sport.
Yeah, you've seen the higher level. But that's the reason I'm glad that ESPN's doing it the way they are, and I hope that they're moving coverage to better timing, because it's going to take that to get the backing to do anything internationally. Now, here's a question: do you know if the game is international, like European at all?
Yes, I have played against Germans. I've played against people from Canada. I've played against people from Australia.
That's awesome.
And it's not just a country thing. It is the legit
everywhere.
world. And the population of the world is roughly 7 billion people. I don't know the exact number. It is roughly 7 billion.
Sure.
Roughly. So it's definitely a worldwide. I mean, they're not that good in other countries.
But it's there.
But yes, they do play.
That's
and they have traveled to the U.S. to see what it's like.
Well, because you would admit, this is the place that it's definitely the higher echelon.
By far. And I think the most competitive states is Illinois,
which is insane,
Kentucky, and Ohio. I think those are the top 3 states.
It's crazy because I know they have
the
indoor
East Coast
venues.
is good.
But you would think it would be a West Coast, South,
West, because
you can consistently play in or outdoors year round.
Yes, there's a lot of solid Texas players.
Florida, California, no?
There's a lot of solid California. Yeah, it's
kind of everywhere.
Northeast, Southwest, Midwest.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's everywhere.
Which is good. And like anytime there's a new sport that's coming up and they're talking about it expanding and getting bigger and bigger, to me that's good. And I know people are like, yeah, bags it's not a sport. Believe me, when you're seeing guys taking this very, very seriously, you're dealing with company endorsements, you're dealing with like decent prize money. I mean, you don't have to answer this, but in high school, how much money do you remember making in a year in high school when you were playing on weekends?
Well, in high school, I didn't play that much.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
Because I played all 3 sports: football, basketball, baseball.
But I remember you're still summertime. You play a lot.
Yeah, but the money's tax free.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 100% payout, all the entry fees paid back. But sometimes it's they get beer sponsors or whatever festivals throwing in the money, and I can make. I don't know how much per year, but a couple $100 here and there, a couple weeks. I mean, it could be. It's not a full-time job.
No. And then, like I said, you don't have to answer. I understand. I just remember us talking, and like in high school, even, like you made a nice chunk of change for a year and playing through the summer and playing 3 sports, that's your school year, because football into basketball into baseball goes straight through. So that's basically maybe 1 or 2 tournaments during the school year if you luck out during.
In the summertime, there's a lot of big tournaments.
Yeah.
In the winter, spring, fall, it's not too great. But now with the ACO and the ACL, they have great indoor facilities to where it's in casinos.
And now that you're 21 and can go into casinos.
I hated not being denied when I was young. Couldn't get into
you were
a bar.
You talked to me. You're like,
casino.
You're like, yeah, I was going to go to Vegas, and I found out I can't get in to play.
Yeah, exactly. That's a bummer. But yeah, it's definitely growing every year, and I'm excited to see what the future is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy to think that these leagues have been around for what year are you on now for the ACO?
The ACO was just got done when I was in Vegas a couple days ago. That was season 14. And the ACL has been in business for roughly 4 years. Wow. I don't know exactly.
And no, this is ACL.
Yeah, what was playing was the ACL National in St. Louis, which was a couple of months ago. But
so even like this, And like these are the tournaments I remember. I remember watching you on a couple tournaments on ESPN. Definitely watching the live streams online, and like it's cool to see like these guys like that go on to national television, and see that.
And it's not just ESPN. It's like CBS News or they just had one on Fox News.
Yep.
And it's the sky's the limit. The way I see it.
So here's my question again. You said you haven't played in the ACL this year yet, right?
No, I'm currently the number 1 ranked player
in the ACL.
In the ACL.
That's what I was going to ask. What was the ranking currently? He's number 1.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And like, I just.
But the thing that the ACL does is, in order to be on ESPN, you have to sign the pro contract, which is pro doubles. It's partners only. So singles, they don't televise that on there
yet.
They have in the past, and I have won a championship.
I just mean I could see if doubles are successful, I could see them covering singles too eventually.
Which they should.
You would think so?
I think they should cover.
Especially because it's going to be
they're
a lot
only
of the same
allowed
people.
so much time.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but I think they should cover singles, doubles, women's, seniors, juniors, college.
So one thing I'm going to bring up is Ryan is going to start kind of amping up his content level on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel. You should go subscribe. It's Ryan Windsor.
Yep.
We have some ideas that we're going to work together through and do some things. There may be a Patreon down the road. Maybe they could do some things. If you don't know what that is, when that comes to play, there'll be a video explaining it. Right now we live in the same town, so it's really easy to get together to do things.
Cuba, Illinois, population 1,300.
I thought you were just going to stop at 13. I wasn't going to argue with you. Some days it feels like that, Then I guess I think, if you had a dream sponsor, who would you pick?
My dream sponsor. Do I only get to choose one, or do I get to choose a couple?
You can choose a couple. I'll give you that.
Okay.
You can choose a couple.
My dream sponsor would probably be Adidas. Would be my number 1 choice. My number 2 choice would probably be Red Bull or Monster.
Surprised that's not a thing.
Exactly. They're with like BMX and all that kind of stuff. My number 3 choice would be a beer sponsor like Bud Light, Ultra, Tito's Vodka.
There may be something in
like that.
You may know. Yeah, but that's definitely awesome. Hey, to me, Red Bull and Monster are definitely a couple more emails you can add to that list we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You just want to be rocking the Yeezys, isn't that it? You just want to rock the new Yeezys while you're playing bags.
Possibly.
I don't blame you. That's awesome. But no, definitely keep an eye out for Ryan. If you follow him on Facebook, which hopefully if you follow him on Facebook, you're listening to the podcast because it's an interesting take on more of what he's doing. There are definitely going to be more episodes with us because we're going to talk about more stuff outside of bags. Mm-hmm. I wanted to cover it because it's something that people know you do, but maybe they don't know the level you're at and how much you're doing this.
There's so much to it because there's 2 different leagues. So
even when though you sign your contract for the ACL, still the level you're going to be at is above and beyond.
Both leagues are at the highest, no matter which league you're in, you're going to be competing at the highest level possible.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to take this league and this league, and you're going to take the top 5 players in each league, you're not going to know who's going to win because it's about going to be evenly matched.
Which is good. And my hope
Both of them are great.
My hope is that even though I know you're going ACL, and the way you talk, there's other people that are having that same conversation. You don't think the numbers are going to dwindle enough to hurt the ACO in the long run, will you? Do you? They are competing. They're competing. So,
yes.
I mean...
They're both great. They both have great things about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think both of them will be successful.
Good.
I would say, the ACL has more players but they both have great venues. They both have great sponsors. They both have great directors.
And great players. Yeah, players.
I'm not going to say anything bad about either one because I'm not going to talk negative about anything because everybody, everything always has something good about them and something bad about them.
Things always ebb and flow.
You always got to focus on the positive things in life.
Ebb and flow is a very real thing.
Yeah.
So I know you've had your own issues with things that you've been vocal about in the past, and luckily a lot of those have been resolved, yes. and that helps out a lot. And it
just took a little bit of time, but things take time.
And sometimes time and pressure, impatient. Right? Time and pressure.
Time is an illusion.
It's got real existential. But you speaking up probably put that ball in motion, where it might not have been in motion before. And that's not even specifying what we're talking about. Yeah. That's just being real about it. No, you know what I mean, though. Yeah, because if not, it might not. That might not have happened. You know what I'm saying, though?
I agree.
Because it's like you don't want to talk bad about anything, but you know too, without the friends you have,
you can't just sit
there.
And
how many guys have you think that are in the same position that have sat there too long? Mm-hmm. So I don't and not disclosing what we're talking about doesn't change the fact of you guys not quite getting that. I'm just saying when there are issues in whatever you're doing, sometimes it's time and a little bit of pressure that gets you out of those issues. Now, I'm not saying overbearing, but Ryan made a comment and made a post, and it got a lot of backing quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, a thing was changed rather fast, and he
And if I didn't do that, the problem wouldn't have been solved, and I would have been screwed.
Yeah.
So it's always good to speak up.
Well, I mean,
stand up for what you believe.
We're not even beating around. We'll just say one of which was for you to go back to go back for that tournament, wasn't it?
Yes, there was some miscommunication, which I take fault for that, and I'm not blaming anybody else. I will take full responsibility for what happened, but
I'm also going to defend you a little bit, though.
The past is the past. Everything worked out. I respect everybody that was involved in it. I like everyone that was involved in it.
And I'm not meaning anything like that when I say this, but I will defend you a little because wasn't it also the fact that you had won the previous year qualified you for the next year? Didn't we read into that a little bit?
The rules were a little
blurry.
Yeah.
Because somewhere it did sound just like that, though, right? It said because...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was saying. 'Cause I remember reading that thinking, that takes... So, no, I'm not saying negative about anybody. I'm not, because, I mean, you know them. I'm not meaning that at all.
It's contradicting to where, like, it could be either way.
But that's why you spoke up, and it all got figured out.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see the aggravation why it came to you doing that. That makes sense to me. Is there any place you hope you get to play in the future? Like, if you could pick a venue for an event, or have you ever thought of hosting one? Like reaching out.
I have hosted just some local tournaments. I've never. That's not my cup of tea.
Man, the gears are spinning. When I said that verbally, I was like, "Oh, there's some ideas."
But that's not my cup of tea.
Understandable.
I'm a player. I'm not a director.
No.
I've directed some tournaments, and
I can imagine that's a whole different can of worms.
Yes, but it was good for me. It made me appreciate all of the tournament directors
It's not
around
an easy job.
me
Not an easy job at all.
Played in. But if I had one place that I could play at, that's a very good question. I would say the Olympics.
Fair. Internationally?
Yeah.
The reason I say that is you never know, depending on how the coverage is going to be. I keep doing this, but ESPN is the coverage they do. I could see them getting some really, really cool venue spots.
And like I said, they've only been in business for roughly 4 years. It can't be more than 5 years.
No.
At least that, from what I believe.
And
it might be 5 years.
Still, though, even then, it's still new enough. They're growing
every year.
And with the contracts they're doing, they're trying to protect a little more, making it exclusive player-wise. I wouldn't doubt that's meaning, they opened it up to 5 sponsors a player can have?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but
and I mean, that by itself is huge. and things like that. So I wouldn't doubt that they're going to have some cool venues and bring out some neat ideas. You know what I mean?
The casinos are the best venues possible because they have all the rooms for the players.
They just play through all the rooms.
Event centers or the convention centers, and then when players have free time, they go spend money on roulette table or hold'em or blackjack. And the casinos are the greatest venues possible.
Because you stay there, you can play there for
spend
games.
Money there.
Well, they want you to, definitely.
Exactly.
But I mean,
but it's a win-win situation for
the casino and for the league.
For the players and directors.
Yeah. Now, when you go to a tournament and you pay to get into the tournament like that, let's say it's at a casino. When you pay to get in, do you get a room or no? Do you still have to pay for your room?
No, you have to. But you get a discounted rate if you're a player.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I was wondering if they did, because to me, I'm like, that's kind of, if they didn't try to do something for you guys, that's kind of crappy. But I understand.
Yeah, they give you get your entry fee, $100 a team, $50 a person, something.
Depending on the payout.
And your room is maybe $120 normally, but you get a discounted rate for $90 or something.
That's good, and you're in the same building.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to travel, or you don't have to drive, Uber, whatever it may be.
Yep. That's good. I mean, that's awesome, and I hope that you just get to keep traveling with it and keep playing, because I know you enjoy it a lot. And I am excited to see, you know what, let's talk about a few of the ideas we're having for your content stuff. All preliminary, right? This is all preliminary stuff, but if we talk about it, it pushes us a little more to do it.
Which is good.
Yeah. Ryan had been saying, and I had asked him before, he's gotten phone calls and emails and texts about people asking him tips on play style and everything. You
How
name it.
to practice.
Like recommendation on equipment, you name it. And we were talking about that, you know, and we're thinking that we might do a thing where maybe once a month we'll take all 5 questions or all the questions, depending on how many we get,
questions,
and have him answer them, and we'll film it, and we'll film a demonstration, and we'll put that up online. You know, like if we do the Patreon, the way Patreon works, because I talked about this with Kevin last episode, because he has a Patreon. The way that works is like fans work as if, like, for Ryan, let's say, Ryan sets up 3 tiers of Patreon levels, right? First tier is you get to ask questions for the Q&A, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's like $5 a month. Or a one-time fee. You can set it up to roll or do a single time. And then there's a $10. And then $10, maybe he does a live stream with you only, and then $15 enters you into a raffle for a set of bags, or a T-shirt or something like that, you know. And then the way they would do that is that month, because I push him to make sure he gets it done, would get that information done and raffle off a set of bags and cover the questions and
with free shipping. I would ship them for free.
And the money would go toward, well, basically it would go toward shipping and go toward your flight, your staying, and your entry fees.
Video production.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think that would work. I think, one, I know you have enough friends that would be interested to see what you're doing and how you're doing. Maybe you get the backing that way, which I think is a good thing. I mean, that's a real thing.
For sure.
And I just think Patreon is something that is an interesting idea, the concept, because it's basically a month to month, I'm going to help a creator that I like further their gift. To where if they want, I mean, you want to keep playing a tournament. That's the truth, though. That's
like
a lot of
but
a lot of musicians use it.
That.
A lot of online musicians use it for studio time, making a video, you name it, and they get funded from people that way.
A big one is Twitch.
Twitch is huge too, yeah.
On Twitch.
And that's something else. You know, Ryan's talked about wanting to do that some. But we also know that's a high barrier to entry.
Is getting started.
And the barrier to entry is expensive. You would agree with that.
It's a high risk, but with high risk, there's high reward sometimes.
But you also admit the setup is expensive.
Oh, yes.
But that could be something maybe you're building towards with a Patreon idea too, or with a sponsor. You never know when you reach out to that Red Bull or Monster. Be like, hey, I also want to stream. Are you willing to work with me? You never know. But so that's something we're talking about, and I think I definitely think we could start doing this stuff soonish, and when Ryan's home, luckily, and but I mean, hey, I'm not gonna knock you for traveling when you can and playing. I mean, I know
While
you
I'm
enjoy
young,
it.
right? While I'm young.
I mean, this is something though that like you could, heck, you don't have to stop when you're older.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got asked a question the other day. So when you're 40 years old, will you still be doing this?
You're like, if I'm still wearing this, if I'm wearing more rings than this one.
No, I was like, well, I can't predict my future that much. I can only predict up to a year or two.
Yeah.
Who knows where my life will be 3 years from now? I'll be 25. I'll have no idea.
And like I told you too, I would never hesitate with the spot you're in the ranking, the fact that you're wearing the ring you have, and the fact that like the success you've had, to send the emails that we talked about earlier and reach out to people and say, hey, I'm interested in doing this, or this. This is who I am. Are you willing to work with me? What's going to tell you is no. And the fact now you're going to be on ESPN some and get covered with that. Possibly. Possibly. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying. Like, that's not going to hurt that at all.
Correct.
And even if you're playing ACO, you know what I mean?
There's still a lot of opportunities there, too.
Yeah.
And it's just how much work you put in.
Well, and you've made friends with the guys that are making these.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You know the guys that are making, and like, that by itself is something that's not gonna hurt to do that even.
For sure.
You know, so like any other ideas you have for content stuff? We talked about maybe doing some like vlog style while you're traveling.
Yeah.
You might try that this weekend.
Yep, I'm gonna try and do that. I have no problem getting the footage for the videos. I just struggle with producing the videos, editing the videos.
We'll work on that.
It's all a learning process for me, but as long as first step is getting started and eventually working your way up to the top. Just like you say, climbing the stairs.
Yep.
That's what this is all about, right? Climbing the stairs.
Doing something that some people don't know is a thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reason why I talked to Kevin. He's writing novels and working an IT job. Nobody knows necessarily he's writing. But I thought that's something that a lot of people dream of doing.
I wanted to produce a bags book.
Mm-hmm.
When I say bags,
you still could.
90% of people call it cornhole. I'm going to be at 10% and call it bags. I know it's American Cornhole Organization, American Cornhole League. I know that's the official name. I don't care. I'm going to call it bags.
Because that's what you're brought up with.
Yeah, I'm sticking to it.
Around here, it's bags tournaments.
Yeah, the rest of my life, I'm going to call it bags.
I'm going to laugh the first time.
I know it's cornhole.
I'm going to laugh the first time you're interviewed on ESPN. And you call it bags, and they're going to like correct you. Be like, you mean cornhole? Nope, I mean bags.
Bags. That's
like,
what I'm going to call it.
I mean exactly what I said.
I'm sticking to it.
I don't blame you. I mean, everybody knows. But I'll tell you this, I could see them changing the vernacular if if it goes, I don't know if that just turned off or not. If it goes international or something like that, I could see them changing the name to bags.
Possibly, but
who knows? All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get to it. You told me you got 2 questions for me.
Yes.
Shoot.
Okay, so this is completely
nothing to do with what we've talked about.
Nothing to do with what we've talked about.
Believe me, like I told you before. So we're going to go
from about 0 to 100.
Tangents or tangents.
Real quick. And there's no right or wrong answer to this question. It's just simply what you believe in. But the first question is, how did we get here as human beings? And the second question is, where do you see technology 100 years from now?
Where did we get here?
How did we
get here
as human beings? Is the first question.
I fall in 2 camps.
Mm-hmm.
I am the son of a minister and a church secretary.
Yeah.
So I've been raised in the church.
Yeah.
Do I believe that it is the spiritual side of creation? I believe that you're a fool to not believe in evolution. I also believe you can believe in whatever you want to. What I mean is, unless I'm pushing something down your throat, then what I believe, if I believe in creationism, then that should be okay. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm not going to tell somebody they're wrong. Exactly. I had a biology teacher.
Because there's technically no proof.
I had a biology teacher.
Because they're all technically theories, right?
Yes. Kick a kid out because she argued that creationism was the way that they should be teaching that evolution.
Okay.
So,
You should never kick somebody out. You should always respect someone else's opinion.
But as a science teacher, I can understand.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. That would be like you going to like a biology professor and telling them that evolution's not a thing and that creationism is the...
Chances are you're going to fail.
They're going to be like... No, they will probably, depending on the person, they're going to laugh at you. I'm not that situation. I understand both sides. I've obviously learned evolutionary stuff and obviously know the creational side.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very odd relationship with religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother question that some other time, maybe a different podcast.
This question could have gone absolutely anywhere. Yeah. That's why I asked it.
Agreed. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of in both parks. I understand the spiritual side, but I also know that evolution is a real thing. The other question, where do I believe technology is?
Question 2. 100 years from now, where do you see technology at?
Sadly, I don't know if we'll be here 100 years from now. The way that everything is going environmentally.
Okay.
I hope so.
When I was in Vegas 2 weeks ago,
mm-hmm.
I was sleeping on the 25th floor, and I woke up to the whole casino shaking.
Earthquake?
Yeah, I was like, is this a dream? And then I hear evacuate. It was a 7.1 earthquake. I thought the building was going down.
Now, where was that earthquake though? Wasn't it in California?
Yeah.
And you felt it in Vegas?
Yeah.
Which is 4 hours away?
Very strong.
I think it's 4 hours away from LA?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got family in California. They were talking about that. And, no, I don't know. I think...
Do you think flying cars will be a thing?
The only reason I would say no is unless they're all automated. Once like, let's put it this way. If we can get away from fossil fuels, which is a possibility...
Which is what Elon Musk is doing with Tesla.
It's pushing, yeah. And there are other car companies coming. Bloomington's opening up a company called Riven in the old Mitsubishi plant, and they make a truck. It looks actually pretty legit. You should look that up sometime. I think it's Riven. I'm not sure. But I think if that gets to where that works perfectly, then flying might be a thing.
Okay, what about video games? Because...
Dude, I think augmented reality, which is like what they talk about with like... What Google Glass was trying to do, and it didn't quite work and got really convoluted,
mm-hmm.
where like I'll be wearing a pair of glasses and I look at this and there's like an ad or there's information that I can see from looking at my bottle of water. Augmented reality, you used to see them in like sci-fi shows where they look at like a billboard and something like projects at them and it's different or a video.
For sure.
And they talk about that with like... the HoloLens, when they talked about the HoloLens, which was a gaming apparatus that you could look at a certain thing and it projected. They used it for Minecraft. They used Minecraft as an example at one of the gaming conventions. And this little table slid open and a Minecraft level lifted. And it was all pixel building and like they were playing and building stuff.
But do you think that you will actually be the character in the game?
I mean...
360, virtual reality, you run around?
I think... I wouldn't doubt that for the fact that
they have virtual reality.
They do, and it's getting better and better.
In 10, 20 years, but I said 100 years.
I think there's a chance that you're not going to be wearing a headset. It's going to be something less than that, whether that's like an implant or something like that, like a neural implant or like an. I'm serious.
Oh, yeah,
By then, though, you never know.
Which would be awesome.
Like and very, very simple to think about.
Will it damage the brain?
Hopefully, by then they know that. I'm not going to be the guinea pig. How about that? I'm not going to be the first person to be like, let's do this. No.
I'll do it. I just jumped off the stratosphere.
I'm
true. I'm willing to try new things.
That's true. Yeah, I'm willing to try new things.
Yes.
I saw the look on your face when you did that.
Yes.
There was a point where you were not willing to try new things.
Earlier, I showed him a video of me jumping off the stratosphere in Vegas. I was scared shitless. And my face said it all. So.
It did. And the grip you had on the rail for a second... kind of look like you're like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, but there's no going back.
No, not then, no.
And then hopefully I can produce that on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, we'll figure a way. Or at least post it on Facebook, too.
Here in day or two.
We'll figure out how to get that for sure.
Get you guys to be able to watch that because
it is
quite
something else. It is something
quite
else.
The experience. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if you have that opportunity, why not, right? But I can only imagine where Bags is going to take you because I could see if ESPN gets a good coverage, you never know if that's like a, you said you play with Canadian teams. I'm like, I could see you heading to like Toronto or Vancouver to play in a tournament, stuff like that. Barcelona, that'd be nice.
That'd be cool.
Rio, someplace like that. I can see that, and that's like realistically, it's kind of a crazy thought, but then again, it's not. It's growing. As long as the sport keeps growing.
It's all about the casinos.
I mean, that's true.
That's the key.
That's very true. Until they get that Olympic involvement, it's definitely that. Or they're going to like, I don't know. I think the fact that they have the league coming up and they're doing what they are with the contracts, I think it's only going to be a good thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the reviews on ESPN keep going up and up every time. That's why they keep showing replays. They keep showing it, well, not necessarily live, but they edit it a day or two after.
Yeah.
But they've been getting really good reviews, and it's on there all the time.
And they do live stream some.
It's growing and growing. They're getting bigger payouts. There's a singles tournament that's it actually already started. It's like a month-long thing, though, where they play like 1 weekend at a time or something. And the winner gets $10,000 cash. Second gets nothing. Winner take all. But $10,000. There's never been a tournament for $10,000, and that just goes to show that it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Definitely only going to get bigger.
Well, excuse me. There has been a tournament for $10,000, but it was a doubles tournament. So really, it's $5,000. But this is singles.
Now, do they ever pay out like top 2 or top 3, or is it always?
Just no, they usually pay out down to like top 10 or something, top 16.
And what, like bottom guy gets like his entry fee back?
Yeah, they even do like a toilet bowl bracket. I mean,
really?
they spread out the payouts between everybody.
That's good.
But some places do winner take all. I don't just play ACL, ACO. I mean, there's all kinds of tournaments, but those are just the two main.
Yeah, I mean, you play tournaments around here too.
Oh yeah, Capital City Cornhole, Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
They host
quite a few.
Probably, I think they have about 180 tournaments a year.
Wow.
They do it just about every other day.
Wow.
Yeah, they have several bars that they play at in Springfield.
All around town.
And I know in the summertime they had tournaments Monday through Friday. And then some on the weekends as well.
That's cool, though.
That's why I moved there and hang out with Jeremy Wheeler. I don't know if you're listening, but you do a great job running tournaments. You and Matt Milner. Shout out to you guys.
I know it said you played some in Chicago, haven't you? Maybe
yeah.
I thought you had.
But Capital City is mainly down
the
here.
big one, Springfield's.
There's tournaments everywhere, and it's not just for cash and all that.
No.
Having bags tournaments is a great way to raise money for someone who has cancer.
And
they
big
have
fundraisers.
Toss for Autism. They have. There's so many different opportunities for tournaments.
Which is good. Which is what they kind of hope these guys do, is raise money and do things smartly.
Charity, organization. For
Work
sure.
with them, yeah. But I think it's crazy to think what a lot of people don't take seriously has kind of become very, very legitimate very, very quickly.
And I'm still learning about the game.
Yeah.
And I consider myself top 3 in the world, at least top 5, and I'm still learning. There's always room for improvement. There's not just slide 4 in the hole and go on. You play defense, you throw the blocker, you throw the airmail. Someone blocks you throw a curveball. You have a reverse curveball. You have a bounce shot at a different angle. There's so much to it, and I'm still learning as I go.
Yeah, this is one thing we definitely will cover when we do filming, is just you kind of explaining stuff like that and talking about that, because I know some of that stuff just because I've watched a few tournaments, but like you talking like curveballs or how you can freaking fit a blocker.
A lot of
like you guys do. A lot of
people say, how do you throw that curveball? And I'm like,
well, You just do.
I'm like, well,
you're like, trade secret.
First
not
of
gonna
all,
tell you.
it doesn't happen overnight. You definitely have to put in the work. You know, you have to discipline yourself, put in the work,
and just
practice.
Play. You gotta play.
And just have fun. If you're too competitive, too serious,
takes fun out of it.
Yeah, you just gotta have fun doing it.
You gotta enjoy it. Heck yeah.
Be competitive, but show respect. Always shake their hand. You know.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah, you gotta have fun with it, whatever you're doing, and especially if you're able to make money doing it. That helps. I mean, that only is gonna. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
if I can go to Vegas and get my trip paid for based on my performance, plus some profit, you can't beat that.
Yeah. And then turn around and make another trip to California.
Yeah, as long as you stay off like the roulette table and the
that's
blackjack table.
very true. Which is probably a lot harder than you think when you're like, I just won some money. Let's.
Yeah.
You're like, well, let's not.
But you win some, you lose some. At the end of the day, it's just a game.
Yep.
That's all it is. It's just a game.
Well, Ryan, I appreciate you sitting down with me, and I will definitely do this again. And like you said, I think I'm gonna keep pushing you to make more content and see how this weekend goes. Good luck on this weekend. What is this weekend coming up? The dates for you?
I believe it's the 13th.
I think you're right. Because today's
July 13th.
Yeah, you are correct. So I'm gonna date this. I'm hoping I'll have this podcast up before this weekend. That depends on my editing timing, but you know, I will definitely do this again, and later on in the year after a few tournaments and maybe after you sign the contract or not, and that kind of thing, and talk about that and see what bags you're throwing then. Right now, what bags you throwing?
I switch. It varies.
Okay.
Different bags play differently based on the humidity.
Okay.
Whether I'm inside, outside.
Okay, so give me two
are.
companies you work with or something like that you want to call out. Give a shout out.
I would say Beer Belly Bags, Ultra, Reynolds. I would say those are the top 3 bag companies that,
awesome.
If I had to choose, that's who I would go with.
Awesome.
Beer Belly, Ultra, and Reynolds. No particular order. I love all 3 of them.
Each one for their situation, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
They all play differently.
Kind of like golf clubs. You got to know what you need.
Reynolds bags are my favorite to airmail, along with Ultra. Beer Belly, I can throw my bounce shots with them.
So, like, when you play in a tournament, can you only use one set, or do you have like one bag of each, so you're ready for that airmail, or you're ready for that?
Yeah, I bring multiple sets with me.
Okay.
Based on the tournament, humidity, all that.
Yeah.
But they're very picky about what bags you can throw. Like, I'm pretty sure you have to have like the same color on each side.
I get
50%.
that. I get that. My
something.
question though is, like, let's say you've got three different brands that are red on both sides. If you know one is better for the airmail and one is better for a bounce and one is better for a curve.
Well, all 4 have to match.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So you couldn't because of the tag.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Correct.
I figured not, but I wasn't sure.
It'd be cool though if you had
like, this is my airmail bag.
Like all 4 bags have to be the same. It'd be cool if you had like 3 bags this weight, but this one a little bit bigger for like a hard push or something.
Just gotta get your name on it. And design that thing yourself.
Yeah.
And make it like golf clubs. You're like, this is my airmail bag. This is my bounce bag.
For sure.
Like, why not? Cool. Why not? Right? You just got to make some phone calls.
I think that's illegal, but
to actually modify them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But like you said, you can tell when like one company makes something a little different.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying like weigh one more, weigh one less. I would imagine that is illegal.
I would like to do that.
Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Yeah. That's super customizable. But
I just want to say thank you for having me.
Oh, hey man, I'm glad.
This is what, episode 2 for you?
Episode 2 for me.
Climbing the stairs.
Yes, sir.
And you just started about a week ago, didn't you?
We recorded a little bit. It took me a little bit to get used to the editing. I haven't done a lot of audio. I've done more video editing. So it took a little bit to get used to that. But yeah, it's
for sure.
It's been fun. I appreciate you giving a holler at me. Again, I was glad that we had talked about this probably 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad that when I did that first episode, you didn't hesitate to reach out, and I've got some other ideas. I got another guy I'm talking to right now that might do that soon. And
sure.
you know, if you're listening, I appreciate you guys sticking through. Give me a like if you like the video. Comment below. Let me know if you're like, just go back to audio. We don't care what you guys are talking about or looking around at. You know, I'm going to have some pictures from Ryan of a ring and a couple bags and stuff maybe on Instagram. So you can come take a look at my Instagram. It's just Justin Stair or Staircase8705, spelled like my last name. Everybody always says, you spelled stair wrong. I'm like, no, I didn't. Climbing the stair is that way for a reason.
Your last name.
Yeah. Well,
which is awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, I can understand when people are like, that's not how you spell it. I get it. Thank you. But
I like that this is what it's about, climbing the stairs. Just in life in general, when people go do something in life, they get so far. And then I think they kind of give up, but they're so close to the top. So you just always keep climbing the stairs.
And a lot of it's just like, we're all going through something. We're all trying to get to a certain spot.
Everybody.
So it's like, why not talk to people about what they're doing and enjoy it? Enough people don't have good conversations. When I know something and somebody's good at something and does something interesting, why not sit down and talk? Even if they don't do something interesting, I could have an hour conversation with anybody. So,
sure.
I mean, you've been around the baseball field enough with us that we can
You're
talk.
Very knowledgeable.
Though we can talk about whatever. For a long
Anytime
period of time.
I see you at a game, I'd always come up to you every time.
Sit and talk about kind of whatever. But I appreciate you guys listening. We will definitely do this again. And thanks for climbing the stairs.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. You've been listening to Climbing the Stairs with me, Justin Stair. Thank you.